Okay, now we're on voice activity. Can you guys hear me okay?
I always hear you.
All right. Becca says she can always hear me, unfortunately. All right, we got it all here. Everything's rolling.
Oh,
It's true. She's always watching. So I did find out, as a way of, I guess, fixing things, I found out what was causing our stream to crash every time. Apparently in Streamlabs, whenever we were switching between different scenes. So when I show, like, here's this scene, the big, like, this page is big, and I switch to a different scene that has different, like, configuration, that's what was crashing the... It would just silently crash in the background and then not continue and not tell you that it was stopped recording, didn't tell you any of that crap. It just would stop. So... we have that fixed now. So hopefully that shouldn't be a problem, but welcome everybody. By way of announcements, it's been a little bit of a little while. We're going to continue this year. We have our Extra Life 2019 all up and running. We've received $35 in donations so far. So we are 3.5% to our goal of $1,000 this year. So that'll be going throughout the whole year, but we're going to try and get ahead of it early and get that done. So as a reminder for last time, you guys had come into, we're right now in the land of Chult, this wild, untamed land full of dinosaurs, undead, and adventure. You guys had come here by way of teleportation, speaking with some of the port princes of Nyazaru, and trying to get help and assistance in finding information regarding this mysterious, mystical, cursed disease, whatever you want to call it, called the Death Curse, that is ravaging the land, not only in Chult, but on the world abroad. You guys had received some information. You had contracted yourself a guide that is coming to help guide you and show you where to go. And when you've actually gone out into Chult itself, you guys have gone down the river, you came with canoes, and you had fought a couple of the local denizens that had been... There had been rumors that were circulating saying that they had been worshipping a large totemic metal type figurine in the out in the world, and that... Let's see, is that something I need to read? Scroll. Okay, got it. Thank you. Musharib, your guide, had helped kind of find this location. You guys had fought a little bit with them. After a little bit of a tussle, you spoke with the queen and kind of backed things down a bit. After having finished discussing with her and kind of bartering for the amulet that she had in her possession in order to get the information, or trying to find this other artifact, that turned out to be a shield guardian. As you had gotten this, she had basically kind of, in order to keep face or save face with her people, had kind of claimed that you had stolen the artifact. They got mad and had chased you down the river a little bit. At which point you guys had kind of safely made your way further to the south. You did find this shield guardian, and upon speaking the command word, does anyone remember the command word? Vorn. So Vorn, being the name or the command word of the shield guardian. After Venfina and Roland both had kind of stumbled across this command word, it activated and seemed to take commands. And at this point, the party, still being new and investigating this new help meet to the party and the different things that it can and can't do, you guys had settled in for the night. And just as you were settling in for the night, there was a puff of smoke and a flash of light and a letter, very neatly rolled up on parchment. It had landed in just right in front of Roland himself, seemingly being a letter destined for his hands and eyes. This is around the campfire as this is happening, and right now, I believe last you spoke, Vorn was on patrol, so he is currently... Yes, so he is kind of walking back and forth, looking around, and you hear the subtle as he's trouncing around. Yeah, walking, looking around, trying to see things. You hear the occasional branches breaking as he kind of just walks through, looks in the bushes, turns around, comes back. But after a while, after his path has been kind of cleared, so to speak, it gets a little bit quieter, and you hear the footfall becomes more and more padded as the dirt gets packed more and more, and there's less sloshy, squishy mud. So you guys find yourself again around this campfire. It is approaching later into the evening, and Musharib, he has already kind of turned in for the night. Throws his mosquito net over his body, trying to keep himself protected, and had advised that there should not be moving at nighttime in Cholt is very dangerous, and that it would be better to kind of hole up and get your bearings before setting out the next day. So, what are you doing?
So Roland is going, and as soon as he gets the letter, he kind of just crawls up next to it, opens it up, and just reads through it. And the amount of time that he spent reading,
Okay.
and so that he puts it in, and pulls out a pair of socks and changes it.
Okay. What's everyone else doing? Is there anything you wanted to achieve? Okay. All right. So you go ahead and mark down that you have the one that you have is the salve, correct? And that was for 24 hours. Is that correct? Okay. So just go ahead and mark that down.
Were we supposed to pick that up as part of our supplies?
Yeah, we got one for
I
him.
believe everyone got one. You got who?
We got one for him.
When they were doing the supplies, I believe you have stash as well. Okay.
I think only a couple of us got double the amount. Oh yeah, because I have 40. I had 40 total. So you just have 20 though. Because I think Aurora and I were the only ones that got double.
I'm gonna try and go to push to talk because I realized that you're probably picking up Becca twice, right? Okay. Well, I'll do push to talk, and then if you guys see my lips moving and you don't hear me, no, I'm not pushing the push to talk button. I'll be like doing these grandiose hand gestures. I don't know if you guys seen that Key and Peele one where they're in the audio booth and he's pushing the button and he's like, and I need you to, and he starts using his hands to show him what he's trying to do. He's like, I need you to hold down the freaking button. It's funny. Anyways, okay, so you go ahead and you apply. Anyone who uses their stuff, just mark it down that you've applied it, and it's basically 24 hours you have until that wears off, and that doesn't get rid of all the bugs, but it gets rid of most of the minor pests and just generally keeps you a little more comfortable. True. It's true. Like the praying mantis. So there's a lot. And then you hear this sound, this, and it stops. And Roland, sitting on his back, is a large, what do they call it? the Hercules beetles. You know what I'm talking about? The big, not scarab beetles, but the ones with the big nose. Big black beetle on the right on his back. Roll for perception. Actually, what? I mean, it was pretty loud, so yeah, you've noticed it. You feel this as you're joking and everyone's laughing. You hear this, and it lands like right on your back. After a couple seconds, it flies off, and you hear that thrumming of its large wings beating. I mean, it's probably the size of a bowling ball. Not yet. You're currently turning in for the night. This is giving you an opportunity if anyone wanted to do anything before turning in. It's all gravy. Meow. All right. Okay, so Roland turns in, Glenda turns in. Everybody can go ahead and you said what's his face was on. Do a perception check for me on the shield golem, please. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He does have blind sight 10.
Okay. That's Aurora's. For a second, I thought that was yours. That's just like a natural one. Ouch. That's one way to start the evening. So he's walking around, and he does say if he has blind. You said he has blind sight or dark vision.
He has
Both. Okay. So do it with advantage, please. All right. No better. Okay. So he's walking around. He as he's you hear that kind of the deep thrumming of magic as it courses, and he's kind of looking around. He sees different bugs and beetles, a couple of flashing eye. He feels larger predators walking past, but none of them seem to be taking notice. They either have seen him as a threat and have run off, or they're already engaged in something else and he's not of interest to what they're doing. So you guys are able to sleep through the night. You wake in the morning. Mushrib at this point is the first one to awake. He's at the campfire trying to cook some of the different roots and things that looks like he has scavenged from the roundabout areas. What else? What's the rest of it? Yes, long rest. Successful long rest. So I need you to make a successful saving throw for me, please. Positive. Ooh. So, on a critical failure, it's 2 hit points.
Can you use inspiration if he has it to reroll it?
Do you have inspiration? You can use this inspiration if you need.
I
I don't want you dying on me just yet. Not a problem. Okay, so just mark down that 2 hit points from Roland. Okay. All right. Okay. So as you're doing your armor and you're putting things together,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
After the prayers, I stand up and I turn to Valentina and I say, "May I bless your armor today?"
Oh yeah, that's fine if you feel inclined.
Thank you. I have should be helping protect me. And I think I listen to you and use my daily blessing forge.
Okay.
Bonus to exceed.
Okay. So Vinfina, make sure to mark +1. So as you're doing that, you do notice Vinfina as he's blessing. When you're doing this, are you in a tunic? What raiment are you wearing during this time? Essentially, I'm getting at, is any of your abdomen exposed?
No.
Roland. What about Roland?
Sorry, it keeps breaking up for me. What was that?
Like a proper paladin, he said.
Oh, I didn't get it either way.
It's okay. 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 Roll me a medicine check, please. Yes, you're going to be the only one that's going to be needing to roll this one. You do... I know, right? You do notice that your side is a little more sore than you would have... As you had gone to sleep, waking up, your side is sore. It feels a little bit tender, a little bit bruised. But otherwise, you're in good repair.
So I'm chalking that up to that I am sickly.
Okay. 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 So just take note that that's there. The rest of you, what's everybody doing? Mushrooms cooking.
So during the night, I wanted to have, for just 10 minutes, summoned my mount, Vidax.
Okay. So you see the all too familiar visage of Vidax pop back into existence. Your phone just ding. Here I am. So you see that, and he's now available for your use.
For use? What? He's not gonna be used.
You don't know that.
He's my friend.
Usury. Everybody else? Anything else starting up? We good?
I also, while everyone was sleeping, I want to have taken a closer look at the what's his name?
Born?
The Iron Giant.
Born?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you look at Born. What are you looking for?
I'm still very suspicious of him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a investigation check, please.
Gracious. Investigation. Did that work? Sorry, my computer's being slow.
That's okay.
I more am just like, since I only have to rest for so long, I want to spend some of that time observing him. You know, like up in a tree, observing him from afar kind of thing.
It's kind of watching. Okay. So looking at, as you're kind of watching his pattern, he is sticking to that same pattern, back and forth, back and forth. Very, there's occasionally as he's walking, you see him kind of look, or turn his body, seeing he's not as much, turning his neck or his head. His head turns slightly, and he'll look out in the distance, and you see him stop for a second, and you'll see, a panther in the distance kind of just run off and to see, something got too close and got his attention, but nothing about his demeanor. Occasionally, when you move up in the tree, he would turn and he would kind of look your direction, and you'd see that there wasn't really like a facial recognition or anything, but you just see he'd kind of look and then dismiss and then continue with his same patrol. Seems like movement itself was triggering this patrolling, trying to see what's going on.
Did I see him acting aggressively towards anybody or anything?
No. The only thing I would say that would be aggressive, quote unquote, would be probably to the vegetation. He kind of disregards the things that he's walking through, and if there's a tree limb in the way, he just kind of walks through it until it breaks. He's not one for delicacy. He's not really looking out for the green thumbs of the earth. But otherwise, there's no hostility. He hasn't, the whole time he's doing this, he doesn't look towards the party. He doesn't, none of that stuff, aside from you and you're moving. But for the most part, he's looking out, looking at the river. Just, seems to be on alert, trying to make sure that nothing gets close without him seeing it. So in your investigation, no, there's nothing about him has a malfeasance to it. It does not trigger any alarm.
I look at all the, like if he has any markings on him that I recognize.
Okay. Markings. So you do see, you don't necessarily recognize them. Make me an Arcana check, and just see if anything familiar about his demeanor.
Are there any languages, or is it just symbols, or what?
I mean, you do see like just different runic symbols that you would probably understand to be some kind of part of the way that he was enchanted, but you don't. There's not like any scripts or pieces on him that are particularly useful.
Incantations or anything?
Mm-mm. I mean, you see like what seems to be maybe the maker's mark on the back of his neck, inscribed on the actual on the metal himself, but you don't see any like, there's no, he who holds this sword becomes the king of England or anything like that.
Alright, cool.
Hmm? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So you're sitting and you're attuning yourself to this newfound power. You feel this almost like an itching in the back of your mind and your subconscious calling out to you. This power that is you don't consciously know it's there, but then once you've connected to it, you feel this energy flow through you. You feel a connection to the ley lines in this land, and you feel all of the different kind of that extraplanar energy that flows through the not the multiverse. I'm going Marvel with that. Gosh dang it, now I can't remember the name. What is the plane? No, what is it called? Do you remember? No, there's a specific name for the outer planes. You feel the outer planes, and then this specific world. That's the word I'm looking for. That one, prime material plane. My brain was like, multiverse. No, the prime material plane. And you don't feel any places like usually. Once this has rushed through you, you feel that the trickles of energy are so faint that there's nothing that would be a direct link between where you are and another plane. And then once it releases, it's a rush. It's like an adrenaline, like someone has, like you've just jumped off. You feel your stomach lurch a little bit, almost as if you missed a step at the bottom of the stairs when this happens. Okay. So you guys are in there. You're able to feel this.
I guess the question is, we're continuing, right?
Is that a question for the party or me? Okay.
Oh.
Mushrib. Mushu, okay. Hey, how can I help you? Well, I've got a few roots, a couple of things around here. Some of them not people like the stomach. It's kind of bitter, but it does the body good, and I don't end up having to use my wages just to survive out here. If you know what to look for, it's not too bad. Eat the wrong thing though, you'll end up in the loo the rest of the day, barfing your guts out or worse. What did
Hey, Preston.
Yes.
How do you talk to certain people in
Hold on.
chat?
Do you want to talk in Discord so that way? What are you asking, Becca?
How to talk to just like one person at a time in chat?
If you need to talk to one person at a time in chat, you push the as dia or at the bottom. There's a thing that you can say as whatever. I think. The whisper, yeah. Where's the whisper?
How do you
Becca's
do
asking.
that?
Ah, to Venfina. There we go. That makes more sense. That's the first time I did that. That reminds me of League of Legends or Warcraft. I used to do those.
Sweet.
I don't know that I've got a little bit here, but it's I don't it'll okay, I guess. So he shares a little half what he's eating with you. He says, you know, if you make this a habit, it'll cost you. Got to go. Oh, it's not. Do I look like a bed and breakfast to you? I don't know, but I'll do my best to try and make you comfortable. But I can show you what to look for. How's that? All right, I can do that. That's not a problem. And so with this, everybody eats, and I'm assuming again that everyone kind of gets their stuff wrapped up for the day. Mushrib basically just beckons the party and all right. Well, what would you like to do? It seems we've got your friend here. He's going to be kind of hard to move without being seen through the forest, but and he obviously can't sit in the boats. They'll sink to the bottom of the river before we even get anywhere. What's our game plan? What are we trying to do? From his perspective, he's trying to.
Wrong one.
Alright, it wouldn't be too hard. We could dry dock the boats and carry him on our back, but if you want to go to Camp Vengeance, I'd say it's not probably half a day's travel up north. Okay. I would like to change your socks.
That I'm having a dilemma of faith, I guess, partially. Disbelieving in the teachings of God and everything like that. What is going on is I see this shield. I spiritual. The combination of its and mechanical parts, something that my deity very much is a patron of. And to me, it feels like divine right. It feels like I'm on the chosen path and I'm being rewarded for my efforts. However, I know that this guardian is our needed step in order to get more information to save everyone's life. So I believe that we should camp vengeance just to check in and see have maybe a path that we can back up. But I do need to get this back to Neon's or that's the port.
But yeah, there's the prince. Yep. He's very interested.
As much as I would very much keep this constant study, but unfortunately, I believe that we have to get it back. Light stake, and they are worth more than the guardian would be. Their life is at stake. And turning in the guardian will get us the information we need to this quest to save me and everyone else affected by this. It's unfortunate. Again, it pains me, but I know we have to get it back.
Look, he wasn't going to give us information. He was just going to give us a silver. Right?
If he knew how to heal, this curse. Oh, but yeah, if he knew how to heal this curse, he would definitely do it since he's so caring about that lady that also has been affected.
He's got the hots for her.
Yep.
You are correct.
I don't know.
To go back to the fort here on foot.
You would be going, yeah, you're going up river and you're going to be walking. Mm-hmm. Correct. Jungle. Heavy, thick jungle.
There might be. There's like a crossbow missing on the map.
Hey, wait a second. You shouldn't be seeing crossbones. I'm just kidding. What on the maps when they were looking at those before, they did note that those areas are particularly infested with undead. So they have marked places where you want to try and avoid if necessary, but a lot of times the more convenient paths obviously would go through those more troubled areas.
I feel like we should go to
Oh, you scared me. I was like, what did I do?
maybe find some information on pieces there. I mean, we already know that what was it, goblins that we met? No, it wasn't goblins.
They're goblins.
Yeah, they were.
They're just a specific kind, the Batiri. Yep, the Batiri battle stacks.
I need to waste more time trying to get back to the fort.
I don't know if he's wanting to do it right this second, but because we're on to find more info in the jungle, and then we gotta head back. I don't know. It does seem a bit odd to keep company with an object of such.
We were searching for
Yeah, you were looking for him.
and it was just for Congress.
Mm-hmm. He was hoping to trade information. Perhaps he was thinking that that Vorn itself might have some helpful insight into the whereabouts of the wizard who had died, whose journal he had given you guys, and hopefully that this wizard had more information about getting to this lost city of Omu.
Which is where we're trying to head, right?
You're trying to.
no,
That's
I-
where you understand. That's where you understand they believe the last known place of this soulmonger was the death curse.
So, do we have any clues as to where Amu and whatever might be?
Basically, we're just we don't know what the best decision here is. We continue searching or go back to the house.
Correct. The only thing you know for certain right now is that it's a ticking time bomb kind of thing where people are, the more longer it takes, the more people die.
But Vorn isn't going to be the answer.
We know how far away it's gonna be to do this. Like, do we have any kind of clue? Like, oh, it'll only be 3 more days kind of travel, or are we just kind of blindly wandering around? Do we have any kind of clue?
Right. Correct. And Vorn being right now the only person that the reason that Wakanga wanted that information is he believed that this wizard had been somebody who was studying this lost city and might have known parts, not necessarily exactly where it was, but had been following kind of the breadcrumbs from old texts. Because again, this area used to have people, and it was less infested with undead. But since that time, most of civilization has been pushed back to Port Nyanzaru, and there's a lot of lost knowledge in this peninsula of Cholt.
We were headed south on the river, though. And
Yes.
once we ran into him, we stopped. But we were continuing down south. I don't recall where we were headed, though. Didn't...
Yeah, you were looking for him.
And that was it? I thought we were headed to, like, a location.
You were looking for... Go ahead. I'll let you use player knowledge, or you guys' stuff. You just piece it together. Correct.
Right, which we found.
And that led us to him.
Correct.
Technically, the guide, we also agreed to help him recover his home
Correct.
and possibly more than he's gone over. But is there a time frame for that, or do we have
No.
to it?
I think we told him that last time since
Yep.
mission first, and after we took care of that, we needed to
That is correct. He's basically just trying to buy your allegiance in that fight when it happens. Correct. You're wanting to dispose of this soulmonger as soon as possible to avoid the death of your compatriot and other people.
So, I'm gonna add from here, given our current situation, best case, how long would it take us to get back to Port Nyanzaru with Born here?
Well, if he's leading the way and clearing a bit of the forest, we might be able to get there a little faster, but that's not to guarantee, that's going to make a lot of noise and draw a lot of attention to the people around. So I'd say we'd probably be 3 days walking out best at, top speed back to Port Nyanzaru without any issues, but realistically, that land is infested with undead, and I'd imagine it'd probably be closer to 5 or 6 days.
And this Camp Vengeance, you said it's half a day's walk there.
Aye.
What can you tell us about Camp Vengeance? Is there any chance that we can learn information there, or perhaps get better travel back to
It's possible. There have been known in these areas to use air travel. Some skyships that they've been trying to try and assist with the hardships. They're trying to get back and forth between different areas. I don't know if they particularly stop in that area, but I know that they've been known on occasion to drop supplies there because it's pretty difficult to get things from Port Nyanzaru without all the undead around. There's high likelihood that they'll be attacked by something or another, and you know how it goes. But it's possible they might have some kind of way to get there through perhaps airship if you're lucky, but I wouldn't count on it.
You know the area, the location nearby that would be a definite option?
Unfortunately, lad, this area is it's a wild and untamed land. It's you're kind of at the will of Melandaru and other people that's kind of if Timor is on your side, you'll get there, but you're at the will of the land itself and the creatures that live here.
Do you guys think we could chance getting travel by stopping at campus first and maybe gathering some information and some chance of maybe some travel to
You do know as well that you guys remember passing it too. It's on the river on the way back up. So you passed it as you were coming down south. So you do know relatively where it's at.
Also, I just want to put out there that one of my new favorite rings is forest.
Okay.
There's
I say Camp Vengeance is a good place to go.
Aye. Well, if that's settled, then let's break camp and let's get moving. Daylight's wasting. No worries. Okay, so you guys pack up the camp, put out the fire, get everything ready. At this point, you are beginning to set out. What is the pecking order? You said Aurora's gonna lead the way?
No, you said that.
Is that what you said?
That's what you said, Preston.
I'm just asking. What's the pecking order?
That's what.
That's what I understood. That's what I assumed. Yes.
Assuming.
So what's the order?
In the second canoe.
All right. You'll be in the second canoe. No, you're packing the canoes.
Oh.
Because otherwise you're going upriver.
So yeah, the stream, we can't just go back upstream because of the flow. Is that correct?
You could, but you'd be paddling upstream and you'd be fighting current, and you'd be going right past where you just angered a bunch of Batiri.
We didn't prepare. Okay.
Can Born just push us?
He could, in theory. In theory, he could. He's like every step, he like steps into a hole, and you just see him go boom underwater. Where'd Vorn go? I don't know.
So as we're going,
He pulls out of the water. He's got like 3 alligators on him.
Mr. Mushu, what all do you know about the people that stop in Camp Vengeance, or the people that are always in Camp Vengeance? Are they going to be fearful of our metal companion? He's metal, right? Yeah.
Well, I doubt that there'll be... I'm getting feedback. I doubt that there'll be a fearful per se. They're very hardy people. They're used to seeing undead. They're used to seeing all kinds of manner of beasts and bugs and other stuff that frequent this area. I mean, they've seen ghouls, and I doubt some Tin Man's gonna just get under anyone's skin. They might give it a second look and glance, but I imagine generally the more civilized faces that they could see, the better the better interaction you're gonna have. If you're on the monstrosity end of those things, you're probably gonna get the short end of the stick and not a very warm welcome. But as far as the frontier town go, it's there's a lot of people, there's a lot of soldier type people there. So I wouldn't expect much. But the people there wouldn't, no, they wouldn't turn tail and run. If anything, they would fight it if it showed any aggression towards the people.
Are there many Steven folk that hang around those parts, or what should we expect?
Well, with any sell swords, you do have those types that might sell for cheaper than others, or they might be looking to get a fast buck. But for the most part, they run a pretty tight ship there. I don't know that that's something you need to worry too much about, but just the same as any other, Point in Nazaru or anywhere in Chult, you want to keep your purse close. Keep things that you don't want other people to know or to find out of places where they can see them.
That's reasonable. Now, so tell us about this, the gauntlet that you were wanting us to. Let's.
So this is, I assume, while you're guys traveling?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna be traveling while we're asking these questions.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let me get it open here.
Sit down and stay a while.
Stay a while and listen. Bonyanzaru. Zarit.
All right.
Moradin's Gauntlet. If you eat that one, you might turn your colon inside out. I wouldn't advise it. So you're asking about Lamorden's Gauntlet. It's my home, Hrackhammer. It's my ancestral forge. This place, there was a volcanic eruption a long time ago that forced us to abandon our home and these places. This specific relic, it's kind of an heirloom. It's a thing it pains me to know that the fire newts themselves they have it in their possession. It's something that they should not be able to desecrate its uses or its needs. This specific item, it's something that's handing down from dwarf to dwarf through our family. It's something that it was made out of mithril alloy and adamantine. The surface of the gauntlet, it basically, we were creating it as a tribute to Moradin himself. There's dwarven runes and the most curious workmanship. It was beautiful. They put it together, with gold on the knuckles, and they all resembled anvils. It was a sight to see. It's when it's wielded itself, you wield the power of Moradin itself. It's said this is something that many dwarves and other people would be able to use either for good or for bad purposes. For our family, it was something that we cherished and we protected until our dying breath. And many of my brothers and sisters have died in searching for this recovery of it. It was such a boon to our people that knowing that the fire newts might abuse it or have it in their possession, it's greatly pains me.
Sounds like quite an item.
It sure does. Sounds like you're. Do you have actual experience with using it, or are these just the stories
No.
of people?
Now, I myself, I've never had the honor. It was for my father and my grandfather, but it was never my time. I was still a young lad when it all happened, and now our people are scattered, and it is very great. Causes great distress and many fights between family members just to get people to want to do it, to find this thing, and I find myself alone in this at this time.
Sorry, guys. How about this nut?
Oh yeah, sure. It'll kill you. Oh wait, I was kidding. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. That's that note there. That's if you eat it, it will sprout these little fungal spores in your intestines, and overnight you'll find that you're suffocated to death as it spreads throughout your lungs and the rest of your body.
So, whereabouts was your land?
Oh, you're referring to the Hrackhammer itself?
No, that's his ancient. That's his forge. I'm more looking.
That's
for
his. That's the city.
It says it's my clan's. It says it's his ancient forge.
Yeah, Hrackhammer is more of like an area, forge, city, place where they would come together. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's what it's actually called.
Yeah.
Not okay. Well, I guess whereabouts was Rachhammer located?
Hrackhammer. Let's see. He takes out your map, and as you're kind of looking at the different places, he says, "We are right here, you see?" And he points to the map, pointing kind of where we're near Camp Vengeance. And then he points, "Hrackhammer is way down here in the Kobold Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Way to the south."
By that there mountain.
Yes, active volcano there. Makes it very dangerous and treacherous in that area to be able to get there. But yes, it's what I would call home.
Who lost their honor in that valley?
I don't like to talk about it. I'm just kidding.
Alright then.
I don't know. They.
Mentioned that the half of me is giving commands to
Okay.
Warren. I'm basically trying to see like what he's as far as like intricate commands go.
Okay.
Because if I'm not going to have him, I at least want to get as much data as I can
Okay.
for when I decide to make this command.
So he's walking. What are the commands?
So I'll be like, pick up that log. It just starts out with like simple ones like pick up that log, throw that rock over there.
Okay.
You know, clear this brush, and then it's gonna start getting more complicated. Like at one point, when we're taking a small break, I'll be like,
So you see him attempting at.
"You're talking."
So at one point he picks up the logs, he's throwing all these different things, and when you're like, okay, now pick up one foot, and then you see him trying to walk on one foot, and he's just kind of hopping, and you hear this like a large pogo stick as he's kind of leaping from place to place. There's these large depressions into the dirt. Any of the foliage or sticks and things that he steps on, you hear this deep sucking as it comes out of the mud.
Stand still and stand on one.
Puts his other foot, and he continues. But pretty much any of the commands, he follows them to the T.
Okay. What's the sorry?
No, bro.
What's the special about Warren? Like, you know, call or something? Or,
Magic.
yeah.
He can store magic.
No, not just a spell. I thought there was like a horn.
A horn?
Not a horn. Or never mind.
Well, there's no bad questions. The more clarity we can provide, the better.
So as we're getting closer to Camp Vengeance, I do actually hand him a very human size, small for him, piece of paper and like a thing of black chalk, or not black chalk, but
Okay.
coal rub
Mhm.
stuff. And I ask him to write words to see if he can articulate intricately like that.
He, like, when you say to write words, he kind of looks for a second. And he's pausing, and then he takes the pen itself, and you see him start to scrawl, very kind of simple, like whatever you just said. You know, he doesn't articulate his own words, but like if you said to write the word day, right? And then he would follow that very simple command, but it would be the equivalent of a really kind of exactly child's handwriting, kind of a dumb scribe, if you will, where some of the things that some of the more complex ideas you would have to break down and into more simple words.
Basically, again, doing as much typing as possible.
Yeah.
Before,
If you try and ask him to speak or anything, he doesn't speak, doesn't say anything. He follows pretty a lot of these other things where you notice that the water and other kind of things that would normally inhibit or be corrosive to other materials because of his magical nature, it doesn't seem to affect him as much. All that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So as you guys are walking, you kind of come through, you see these different experiments, you're speaking, and for a moment you see as Mushrib, he puts his hand up and he says, hold on, do you hear that?
I don't know. Do I?
Listen.
I don't know. Do I?
Okay, so Born stops and he says, no, listen. You guys hear a kind of a distant, not really cry, but just kind of a help. And as you're coming into this brush, you start to notice chunks of timber and wood and planks and large oiled canvases that have on the ground, these blue oiled canvases. And as you come further into this clearing, you see in the distance under this, because you are in the jungle, there's small rays of light where it's peeking through. You do see a couple of figures ahead, 4 of them that turn and look at you, each of which have these deep, soulless green pits for eyes, each of them having on on their foreheads this symbol of some kind. You have seen similar creatures in the past. This particular, let me get the specific name. These are these ghouls essentially that are looking towards you. You don't recognize the symbol on their face, but you do see them. They kind of stop and they're looking your direction. They look immediately and they see Vorn, and for that moment they scatter. You look up into the trees and you start seeing the wreckage of all this large ship of sorts. There's different planks and different pieces of cloth and material everywhere. This wooden vessel is high in the tree branches. It's broken into 3 main chunks. There are different that mark each. There's differences of this that you recognize. This. Go ahead and roll and make me a history check, and anyone else who's interested in architecture or like design, that kind of stuff. Make me a history check. Roland, you believe, you note that this particular vessel, it's not your typical ship. It's not like, it doesn't have a prow and all these other things that would normally be used to make it buoyant. The fact that it's in the tree is even more perplexing, and the material makes you start to think that this might be one of those airships that had been referenced. And this thing is 50 feet above the ground, and the section, the middle section appears to be 15 feet higher, and the bow section is wedged into a nest of branches another 10 feet above that. And this calling out for help seems to be coming from high in the branches in this area. So let me get you on the board.
Boom.
Swing.
Waka.
So you guys it. Paint it black. Dig it deeper and throw it away. Oh, no, that didn't work. I'm still pulling people out. There. Now I can see. You're so tiny.
That's a cool mappy thing.
There you go. I think.
What are those things?
Can everybody see?
I think they may have been undead of some sort.
Do we recall where we saw them before?
Say it again.
Well, I said, are they undead?
Or which one's undead? The
Notables in the tree thing?
No, the ones that you see, you're not sure. From where you're standing, they're above. But the voice that you're hearing is not. You would expect ghouls to be speaking more or less intelligibly and more kind of primal. This voice is very clear, and weak. You get the sense from the draperies. If you want, do a survival check for me, Aurora. You can see if you can tell how long it's been here.
Yes.
19. You think that, as far as you can tell, it's only been here for maybe 5 or 6 days. It doesn't have, like, it does have the water markings and things like that, but the tears, the fabric itself hasn't faded, and it seems like this is a relatively recent incident. You do find that some of the
Said 5 or 6
days, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
where the corpses or where those ghouls were kind of congregated up here before they scattered, seeing Vorn, you do see remnants of body parts, skeletal features, some scripts of human flesh still attached,
Is it,
or humanoid flesh.
I'll go ahead and call it. Hello
So-
there.
so you said how far up is it?
50 feet. You hear a voice call back down. Is someone there?
Yes, a few someone's. Are you hurt?
Oh, yes, please. Please help us.
And whereabouts do we hear that coming from?
You hear this coming from up here. One of the lower, the prow of the ship that's
Is that
lower.
where we saw some of the googly people
The ghoulie people were probably right here.
on the floor?
On the floor of the forest.
Okay, is there a branch that is about 30 feet off the ground?
Make an investigation check for me.
Because I'm not really sure how you'd measure height of branches with this map.
Right. This one's kind of a little bit difficult. You would be so investigating. You do see that there are some places that you could climb up, and there's also some places where there's some ropes that are kind of draped that looked like they were part of this balloon infrastructure, but you don't know how well attached they are. Some of the branches, most of these trees are very, very strong and thick and old trees, so you get the sense that
for a sturdy branch about 30 feet above.
yes, you see above you, let's say about right here, there's a branch that would go, these two overlapping ones, that you believe would sustain weight, your human
And does
form.
it seem like I could get over to that part?
You see, if from where you're at,
No. If I was on that branch up in the air, could I get over to that blue drapery thingy?
you could. You get the sense that you could try the drapery. You don't know how well it's attached. There is here the mast of the ship, or a part of what you would associate as a mast is kind of intertwined. So you get the sense you could do that. There are cables or ropes that are tied very tightly between these. You get the sense that they're part of this patchwork spindly web that's holding it aloft in the air.
Okay.
You could
I'm
use
gonna
to swing
do a
across.
misty step up
Okay.
to that there branch.
Okay, so Venfina just disappears and reappears up here on this branch.
Hello, Brunch.
Sending out help.
Hello, Brunch.
Are you in danger currently?
Not yet, but we have heard that they're, and you hear faintly, like kind of trail off, and you get the sense that she's either passed out or you're not sure.
So I turn to one and grab the amulet and say, "Get out in the air."
And you see him at this point, the under his helmet where these eye slits would be, you see it narrow, and the light, instead of thrumming its normal color, starts to go a little bit more yellow or orange and amber. And he looks around and just, think Big Hero 6. He puffs his chest out and he starts patrolling. So then, okay, he holds up.
This is technically kind of another test. I want to see if a fake command, if
Okay.
it's like an intention thing or if it's capacity.
Roll me a d20. If it's lower than a 10, he's going to attempt to throw you. Okay, you're good. He grabs you and then delicately he lifts you up, gives you, you can stand on his hand, and you're able to reach some of the lower branches and be able to make your way up. Make me a strength check to, I guess it's athletics. Just kind of make your way up. You're fine. You scramble up, and you're
Scramble up with Venfina.
okay.
I'm gonna get my rope out and tie it around myself, and then
Okay.
shoot it with my arrow. And
Okay.
Just tether it to a tree over here,
Okay.
just in case I fall along the way.
All right. So
I sprinkle it and then I go, "Forward, toss it and then up."
okay. So Vorn, make me a strength check. Let's see how far he throws him.
Me strength check.
Yes, you a strength check since you're controlling Vorn.
You don't want me to use his strength.
Use his strength. Yes.
Have that.
Okay. So he takes Clandon, and it's almost like, when a dad's holding his baby and he tosses him in the air a little bit. And so he takes him and he kind of throws him up in the air. You get probably 2 or 3 feet, and then you come back down and hit the ground. On your feet. No problems, no damage. But it was worth a shot. And then he kind of goes back to looking around, scanning the area. Anybody who wants to climb up, go ahead and make me just a quick athletics check. Venfina, you shoot the arrow. Where are you shooting it? Clandon, you make it up just fine.
I showed you.
Okay.
On that.
All right, so you shoot it, and it's successful. You do have... I'm going to draw a line between you and it. Boop. You have a tether that's shot over there. You do see from this... Now, in this angle, you do see 2 figures. One that's further up on the ship. That's both of them are kind of sprawled out. Definitely seen better days.
As in it's dead?
It's hard to tell from this distance, but they don't seem to be ravaged. They're not bleeding. There's not blood everywhere.
Alright, I'm gonna try and shimmy across on this blue tapestry.
Okay. So you did you say you have the rope tied to you personally?
Around my waist, and yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
shot it across.
So as you're going across, it's just basically similar to those carnal events where you have the ropes swinging back and forth. You're climbing, and there's places where it's like a hammock. So you're from the material wise, but you're able to get purchase on it, and you're able to climb and scamper across. The rope coming with you. Delete.
And as I get closer, I like collect the rope.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just hanging and getting caught on stuff.
Okay. So you're able to get over there, and you find you're standing on the ship, and as your weight kind of gets on it, you feel that it's kind of goes a little topsy turvy, but it's holding all the ropes that are kind of making this patchwork seem to be stabilized. You do see the body of over there of a Harlu. I can't even say that name. It's basically an elven type figure laying on the ground. This is female. She seems to, from what you gather from what she's got on her, she seems to have been the navigator of some kind. She has what do they call them? Starfinder sextant. That's the one. She has a sextant and some other things on her belt loops that's would indicate that. The other gentleman is in the back. He is also unconscious. He's humanoid as well. It looks like one of your typical someone you'd meet in Chult.
Okay, so the one right next to me is the one that's alive, right?
Yes, you see her breathing now that you're over here.
Oh, it's a girl? Sorry. It sounded like
She's breathing, yes. And this gentleman up here, at least from what you can tell, again, there's no blood everywhere, but they just seem to be knocked unconscious. A little bit emaciated from possibly exposure. She's very sunburnt, and her lips are cracked, but she's breathing.
Alright. Does she notice me when I get closer?
As you're coming up, yes, you do notice her. That she kind of weakly looks your direction. You notice in different places here they've actually taken some of these rain catchers that you recognize, having purchased some from in Chult, where they were actually collecting rainwater to try and drink. Most of the contents of the ship, you get the sense, is just sprawled out everywhere. But there doesn't seem to be any sign of people having been able to eat or what have you. And she looks weakly your direction. She says, "Oh, thank Timora, help me, help us. We've been wrecked here for some time. I don't know how much longer we can last with the ghouls. I'm so glad you're here." And she starts to break down and a little bit cry and just weakly sob to herself.
Are you injured, or do you know if you're injured?
I don't know that I'm injured, but we have been without food for some days. And please, if you have anything to eat, help me and my companions.
So I'm gonna move over to this area right here. You said can hold weight.
Yes. You saw her go across. It's like walking on if you're gonna walk on it, it's like a hammock. It swings, and so you just have to be precarious and helpful with it. Klein is up there. Aurora kills of her. I'm assuming is.
You never told me if I made it or not.
Yes, you made it.
Okay.
Is Tiger Lily trying to climb, or she's just chilling on the ground?
Yeah, she's gonna follow me, but I didn't know whether it would be a strength or dexterity or what.
I believe is it strength for athletics. Yeah.
If it's athletics, yeah.
Yeah, it's strength. So go ahead and just have her roll a flat strength. Yeah, she leaps from branch to branch easily. She uses her claws to dig into the thing, into the wood, and you guys are all able to get up there. What's Kills over doing? Okay. Keep watch. Okay. And then I'm gonna put a second. Let me put one in there real quick. I'll put one in there for Vorn's representation.
What about Mushu?
Musharib. And also note that
He doesn't like being called Mushu.
the canoes are down here as well. And then you've got Smiling Robot here.
Well, that's not creepy.
Smile. Along with Mushu. I'm gonna make him an X just because. You guys have been instead of going up the river, you guys were dry docking him and walking with him.
I feel bad for having all those tests with Warren clearly.
Hey man, it's your.
I can correct that now. I'm trying to find my way to the middle section.
Okay.
Where Athena went to,
Okay, go ahead. Are you wanting to shimmy across? Are you wanting to try and stick to the tree itself? What are you wanting to do? Jump? You're only 50 feet in the air. What are they? These squares are, I believe, 5 feet. Mm-hmm.
I'll shimmy across. I'll be very careful about it.
Okay. So you go ahead and you grab on and you're shimming across. Go ahead and just make me a deck save. You're just well, I guess that's athletics. So just athletics. Okay. There's a couple of spots that are a little slippery, but you make it across. It's fine.
Okay, so making it all the way across.
Yep, you're over here by this gentleman. You see the same type of thing. These folks, all of them, just look emaciated, very hungry, tired. Most of them unconscious. But you know, they are. You do see signs of life.
I'll go ahead and unshimmy my pattern. I'll say, don't worry, I'm a cleric. I'm here to help, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull out each of them a ration,
Okay.
and then my water skin square as well.
Okay. So each of them thank you. Each of them are just, again, you can tell that they are exhausted. They are just, ugh. And so they're very thankful. And you see a little bit of that spark of hope in their eyes as they take these things. Clan and Aurora, where are you going?
I want to make my way over to this tree.
Okay. So you're able to get around onto the branches. You're able to get onto that tree itself, the branch.
I'm gonna listen, come with me.
Okay. Meow. She dies. No, I'm just kidding. But she lands on her feet. Just breaks all 4 of her legs. Now you gotta carry her home.
What is the matter with you?
Just kidding.
What is-
I'm on a shtick today, I guess.
I'm not
So, and Invidex is very sad that he was left behind, but
No,
he'll be cool.
no.
It'll be okay.
He was left down there for a purpose.
Okay.
Relax,
Okay.
girl.
So you're able to get up there. You're basically where you're standing is there's different parts of the tree. There's different like crooks and nooks and crannies where you're able to kind of sling into, and you're right at this point. Come around, and you do see down where Roland is. These 4 figures, each of them kind of congregating near him, receiving aid.
I also offer assistance to the one gal in front of me.
Okay. So she accepts, and she drinks the water. At first she starts gulping it, then she starts coughing, and kind of slows down a little bit. And from this, she
There's
says,
blood,
"Please,
right? No blood.
no blood." She says, "Please help Falx. Falx, he's much more wounded than I was in the crash, but I think he."
Who would be Alex? Where do I find that person?
Over there. I believe he has more of a concussion, so please be gentle. But he's
I
chilling over here.
bounce her over.
Okay.
Carefully.
There are broken planks. You see parts and pieces that would, if you're not careful, that you could fall through. And so, but you're able to get over there, and he accepts your help. Becomes a little bit more lucid as you approach.
He's alive.
He is alive. You
Fine.
make a medicine check. And Roland, make me a medicine check as well, please. Okay. Benfina, you see his eyes are very dilated. You get the sense that he has suffered a severe concussion of some kind.
Is he having a fever?
I don't know actual medical stuff, but yeah, sure, he has a
I
fever.
just want to know if he has a fever.
Yes. So is it because you get a headache when you have a concussion because it gets dilated, correct? Because there's more light's coming in and it hurts your brain.
He's going to be sensitive to light.
Yes.
There you go. That's what's happening.
I only know because I experienced a concussion recently. And his mood will be elevated in aggravative manners.
There you go. You're seeing all of these symptoms. Roland, you're also seeing these folks. You get the sense that they have suffered 4 points of exhaustion. Not that that's metagaming, but yeah.
4 points. Is that a point day?
A point day?
Is that a point a day?
Yes, it'd be the equivalent of you staying up for 4 days and not getting any sleep. Okay.
You say you saw some fruit on a...
So as you pick this fruit, it has a very sweet smell. It's very sweet demeanor. And when you're holding it, it's very similar to that of a pomegranate. You toss it down to him. He cracks it open and he says, "Yeah, these are fine. Not a problem. They're very sweet smelling, and you might get a few that are bitter. I wouldn't advise eating too many of them though, because yeah."
If you can find a few more, we've got some hungry people over here.
Okay. So you're able to gather some extra fruits. Make me a survival check, and we'll see how effective you are. You're able to get a good amount for at least one per person, and you're able to deliver those. Make me a perception check. Kilziver, Vidax, Clandon with disadvantage because you're getting stuff, and Warren, please. Perception check. Yes.
Oh, I guess I'm gonna use some lay on hands on
Okay.
Fufafa.
Fufafa. Fufafa.
Fufafa, yeah.
Falx. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Go ahead and you you see very quickly his demeanor change as his eyes begin to kind of go back to normal, and you see that a lot of that pain that was ailing him has subsided. It's not completely gone, but it is. He still has that exhaustion.
And he can relay the message of how they ended up in this dilemma.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
In this dilemma.
Oh, and I give him like 5 hit points. Or not hit points. I give him 5 points, whatever.
Okay. So he is much better or worse than kind of where he was at. You get the sense that the way that he's dressed, he seems to be of the not mercenary, I guess you could say. He's more martially attired. He has armor. He has sword at his side. He has some of these things. All of it being light armor, none of it being like heavy plated armor. All of it you would expect to see in Chult. He also has one of these makeshift spears that you get the sense that he's fashioned to try and further help defend this position. But after talking to him a little bit, he does relay that they were attacked by terrafolk. These are flying creatures that, while they were trying to pass through, they had a lot of cargo on this particular ship, and they were trying to get this stuff to Point Nyazaru from one of the settlements to the south, and they slashed through the air balloon itself, and they had come crashing down into this location. And that there's been, many days, and they've been, suffering starvation, and they've been trying to fend off these gorilla folk-like creatures. At which point, I'm going to need everyone to roll for initiative, please.
No, could I have passively perceived that there was no, did you see our perception?
Kilziver would have seen, or at least heard something coming in the distance. You'll hear and then these large thumping sounds of these things approaching very quickly. Clandon did not. Venfino, where you're at, you did not. Roland did not.
Whoa. You didn't even ask if I remember.
Blink Dog. Vidax would have smelled them a little bit, kind of the same. And if he relays that to you, then yes. But otherwise, this is considered a surprise round.
His only job was to alert me.
Yeah.
There was anything on the ground.
Okay. Well, he alerted you. This is considered, at least from where they're at, they're a surprise round for these Grillin. But yeah, when they're fighting here, Kilziver. The only people who would not be, I guess, affected by this surprise round is going to be Vidax, Kilziver, and Venfina specifically.
I got 20.
Make sense?
Right,
Gravy? Because you rolled high enough that you would have kind of seen this coming. So make sure everybody's got it in
I got
there.
a 20 on my initiative.
Kilziver.
So I know that,
You wanted to send the results of this roll to turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
Roar myself,
Hmm?
Okay.
Preston, are you seeing this in the
That's
chat?
16 is for everyone, by the way.
Okay.
Are you seeing?
Where is the initiative in?
Yeah, the initiative.
It says you wanted to send the results of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected. Do you see? You don't see mine, do you?
Yeah, I was about ready to bring that up, Preston. The
Okay, hold on.
button's still on.
Give me a second.
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. If you, for now, open up your character sheets. And on the character sheet itself, there should be a spot for initiative. If you click that, that should, in theory, put it on there for the moment. And then tonight I'll get the button.
So it says
I have to reprogram it.
you want to click on your token character and then hit it so that it
Yes.
has...
As you, not just random. Okay.
Yeah, because whenever I did my first initiative roll, it said you wanted to send the result of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
Same.
So then you can select your token and then do it. And then
Gotcha.
it sends it to the turn order and stuff.
Perfect. Okay. So now I've got everyone.
Fire Lily doesn't have an initiative button.
Let me put it in
Wait,
there.
I found it.
It's itty bitty.
Tiny, tiny.
Plus dex.
Tiny, tiny, tiny. Alright, there we go. So we are going
Just,
to...
that's me.
Did y'all see the
Grillin.
new trailer for Aladdin?
No, not yet.
It looks so good.
Fine. First, pretty lackluster.
Yeah, this one is more intense and lengthy.
Takes place in Bel Air 20,000 years.
Alright, there we go. Character sheet, initiative, where else? Yes, there is.
what about the little guy below?
Now I'm trying to find...
Does Mushu need to roll initiative? Is he gonna fight with
No. He's not gonna fight with you. He's not a fighter. He's a lover. Not a fighter.
He's not a fighter, he's a lover.
I'm having a total brain fart. I'm just gonna do this by hand. Let's move this off over here and go here. So, first 3 of the Grillion. $16, $5, and $15. Yeah, I don't know where those the GM initiative is gone too. What the crap? Whatever.
Good old
We'll stick it in
updates.
there. Big guy 1. And then we'll just do the ghouls as a cluster. Because that will be fun. 2. 16, 5. And Vidax needs to roll as well.
He did. He got a 7.
Okay, 7. I'll put that in.
Sorry, did you see Van Venus too?
Did you click on the... that's
No.
right, you didn't.
Yeah.
I'll put it in there. Yeah, that's annoying that got rid of it. What was Van Venus?
20.
Okay, so we've got them all in there. Roland, Kilsver, Clandon, Aurora, Tiger Lily, Big Eye 1. Vorn, what was Vorn's?
Born, yeah, I rolled for him. You get 16.
Alright, 16. So, basically, as these for the round, quote unquote, for their surprise round, they are heavily on approach. These specific ones were up to the north. These guys were over here. These are all on the ground, mind you, not in the trees themselves. And then you hear thundering. There's both. So here. Yeah, Gorillian zombies. So this will be fun. So as you just hear this, and some of these Gorillian zombie-like creatures, you see them kind of swing angrily from the vines, and each of these, all of them, have the same symbol, runic symbol, kind of etched into their foreheads. Some of these zombies, as they run and they approach, you see them swing and grab some of the actual trees themselves, and they they're swinging up through the tree, trying to get up higher in towards where you guys are up. So Vinfina, this guy right here, I'm gonna put a marker on it just to tell me how high it is. This guy is 25 feet, not 225. This guy's at 30. And then this guy's running at the ground right now, just thundering. He uses all of his movement to get around Tiger Lily. And Aurora, you hear it coming underneath. Kilsver, it is coming from... You can see this guy over here. And that is considered their surprise round. These guys are slower.
Question real quick. What is
Wow.
a finesse weapon?
Finesse weapon allows you to switch. Yeah, you don't have to use just strength. You can use dexterity, whichever's higher.
So, do I just need to look in like the specs of a weapon to find out if it's a finesse or if it
Okay.
uses dexterity essentially?
Yeah, it'd be like daggers.
Have it as a special quality. Usually,
Yep.
like daggers, short swords, rapiers, they all have the finesse quality.
They're the lighter, finer weapons.
So if you're looking on D&D and Beyond, specifically in your equipment, under the notes section, it should have any modifiers.
All right. So first in this turn order, Clandon, you see these different creatures, for lack of a better word, come thundering down. What do you do? I'm getting the zombie Gorillion handout. Show to players. Show to everyone.
Wasn't me.
And then these are the guys that you're familiar with. The only difference being, yes, they are.
I knew things.
Your favorite enemy?
Swing.
Nice.
Narf. All right. So what are you doing, Clandon?
going to pee real quick. Ah!
When are these civilians going to go, by the way? Are they going at the end of the round?
They are all pretty much bumps on a log. They will kind of chill, but like as far as they at this point not too much. I mean they'll kind of shuffle around, but if you want, I can put in a turn order for them to move. But their movement is very like decrepit.
Well, when it gets to my turn, I want the ones that are. I'm going to have them behind me, basically.
Okay.
But if that's allowed, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yep.
I just
That's
don't
totally
want
fine.
to, like, get behind me and have them just stay there.
Yeah. So they are all there, Clandon. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Just letting you know.
No, sorry. I was trying to finish reading something real quick. Okay, I'm gonna, as a bonus action, as part of the bonus action,
Okay.
and put Hunter
Okay. On which one?
this closest.
Okay.
Vicinity.
All right. Hunter's mark is on him.
And I'm assuming like that I've got full visibility of him.
Yeah. At this point, he's rounded the tree, and you see him. Some of his mangled fingers. You see the bones and things scratching into this tree as he comes around. And you just.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and knock both his.
Surprise!
All right, so your longbow. That's funny. So I have to share this because I think it's peculiar the way they write it. Its attribute is aggressive, and as a bonus action, it can move up to its speed toward a hostile creature that it can see. Isn't that the same as a dash action?
I think it's specifically like.
Just if it sees something, it goes. Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of funny.
Why are these zombies working together?
All right, so you hit the hunter's mark 16. 16 it's their bonus action. So as it hits, make sure you roll your damage plus your hunter's mark on that shot. And as a reminder, you do have 2 attacks.
Oof.
Okay, so 4. All right, so you see it hit, and it doesn't, it sinks in, but it seems unfazed. I mean, it doesn't seem like it has much from pain receptors. You see its gaping maw kind of unhinged at pieces and points, and the teeth that are exposed and some of the muscle that has been decaying, and he just opens his mouth even louder as he keeps coming your direction. Roll your second attack. Okay, 22 hits. Roll for damage. And Hunter's Mark's once per turn, is that right? Or is it every time you hit?
I think it's speed.
Whenever you hit with an attack, it's every time.
Yeah. Love it.
Advantage on wisdom saving throws. Okay. Okay, so you roll 4. Go and roll for your damage. And remember, it is a concentration spell, so if you do take damage, we'll have to make sure to do the concentration checks. Okay, so, sorry. I was waiting for the other one, but I realized that the other one was what you rolled, so. Okay, so it hits him, the second arrow hits him, same thing, and there's a little bit of stopping power to it, but he seems unfazed. All right, next up on the chopping block, Venfina.
All right.
Roland on deck.
And I see a giant gorilla.
You hear a giant gorilla. Right now it's underneath you, and you feel the tree as this large, half-ton creature comes swinging through the tree branches. The tree itself is kind of swaying a little bit. And you hear it below the ship itself. It's not on your level yet. But you do hear it's roaring from beneath the prow of the ship.
Are there holes in the ship that I could potentially see down.
Yeah,
And
it wouldn't
observe
be.
that thing?
You'd be able to see it vaguely, but it's not like a window or a portcullis. You'd
I know,
see like
but, like,
scraps of wood.
Could I potentially throw a small dagger down there?
With disadvantage, probably, because it'd be considered like 3/4 cover. Because of the way that this, I mean, if you think about throwing a dagger in like a slit in a door, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you'd probably be doing it with disadvantage, but you can see it. It's coming very
Even if
quickly.
I'm proficient with daggers? Does that have any influence on it?
I think it's more of a cover problem
Okay,
than a
cool.
proficiency problem. If you had like sharpshooter, then it would negate any cover. But I think that Aurora is the only one that I'm aware of that has sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Or if you wanted, you could go to the edge of the ship and do the same thing.
Alright. I shall approach the end of the ship.
Okay. Go ahead, and it is a good 25 feet below you. You are able to see it, pretty clearly. And if you want to fire or throw, or what do you do?
I will bring my heavy crossbow out as I approach the edge and
Okay.
aim it down to where I hear the noise.
Okay.
And I'm going to... Alone. Equipment. Heavy crossbow. Damn it. What is it? Anywho, I'm going to shoot with the heavy crossbow.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack. And you have 2 attacks as well, right?
I do.
I'm pretty sure everybody.
I don't.
So it's a nat 1. So you pull your
That I don't have to attack.
right. You
Oh, yeah.
you pull
Good.
right. You pull the heavy crossbow out, and as you're firing, the swaying of the branches takes your aim off just enough, and the arrow goes flying down and hits the ground down below, but it does not get purchased in the zombie.
Okay, anyway, I'm gonna shoot it again with said crossbow.
Okay. Go ahead and make another attack.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Hit it, hit it, hit it.
I'm going to use my initiative. I'm going to use my inspiration.
Inspiration? Okay.
Get a 3.
Use my initiative. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on. I already used it.
Uh-huh.
Roll it, roll it, roll it.
Sorry, I can't. It's going super slow.
I'm going to knock on wood. Today mine's going relatively quick, so usually that's my problem, is when it's going super slow. All right, 10. Another one. As he's swinging from vine to vine, he pulls heavily on this one, and you feel the boat below you lurch forward, and you tip forward to fire, and end up another arrow hits the ground.
Was I close?
Nope. All right. So next one's dropping. Do you have any bonus actions? Anything else? All right. Roland, you're up. Kilzava, you're on deck.
All right.
Well, you're on the ground, but
Turn.
you're on deck. Bad dad joke.
So it's not specifically stated in the shield guard stat block,
Mhm.
but what would it be to command the shield guardian?
So right now the command it has is the just being on sentry and attacking and making sure that if anything attacks to attack it, right? Is that what the current command was?
It's basically any undead with that get nearby.
Okay. So if you wanted to change that command, I would use it the same as like the I would treat him the same as I would Vidax or the others. I would treat him as his own thing. He will use his actions, but if you wanted to change that action, I believe it would be a bonus action to just, shout out and say, "Born, do this thing."
All right. So we'll save that for now. So shout for these four, and I'll say, "Get behind me," because I can see this guy, right?
Yeah, he's swinging. He's getting up on the branches, and you see him starting to crest. But he's not completely on your level, but he is coming. You know he's coming.
Good grief, it's
Try and
slow.
shoot him, or try and hit him with bell right now. It would be disadvantage.
It would not if you get closer to the edge. Like if you're trying to shoot through the bottom of the ship through like a crack or something, it would be. But if you go over the edge, you'd be able to see him clearly.
Like all the way to the end.
Each target.
That. Okay. So in that case, I'm going to tell them to get behind me, and I am going to stand right here. So hopefully they'll all kind of shift around.
Okay.
And
They do.
just get behind where I'm facing.
So I'll pull these. This there. And then she's gonna kind of go over here. There you go. They get behind you.
And then I'll bring my weapons out and I'll shout my defensive word.
Okay.
And bring out a shield of faith. I'm going to be testing that on myself.
Okay.
+2 bonus to AC. And then I am just going to try with disadvantage to hit him with a sacred.
Okay. Go ahead. Burn, baby, burn.
Oh, it's a saving throw.
Okay, so that's dex save. All right, let's do a dex save.
They gain benefit from cover for the saving throw. So.
Perfect.
So
All right.
Defensive word, I'll shout.
15.
And then immediately in Sindar.
Okay, what's the save? 15. He rolled a 15.
Is, let's say, 14.
14. Okay, so as you do it, you see as this.
Oh, wait, hang on, sorry. I think it's different for, cleric. Yeah, okay, it's actually lower, so 13.
13. Okay, so as you're doing this, you see as the sacred flame starts to sprout up where his fingers are, but he rips the branch off and throws it and grabs the next one and continues towards you. But it does not.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's my turn.
he's dexterous apparently.
Hopefully that's got his attention.
Oh, you got his attention, all right. All right, next up, kills of. You don't have any secondary actions, right? Bonus actions.
I already used my bonus action
Okay.
for Shield of Faith on myself.
That's right. Okay, so you're good.
Oh, and as a reminder to Venfina, you have 3C.
Yes,
I have
I'm gonna
what?
put.
Oh, yeah. I put that on there. Thank you.
All right, I put a little icon on you to help remember the Shield of Faith. All right, next up, Kilsiver. Vorn's on deck.
Alright, so with that, the big monkey that's coming after me kills the lure, lets out his dragon roar,
Okay.
and charges him, and goes after him, and, you know, and anyone that can actually see this going on, he runs, and then jumps at the monkey, and acts like a spear to headbutt him in the gut. He's running full length.
Okay.
You know, kind of using the head.
Okay.
What is that? Hercules up against the big
Mhm.
dude in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, using his head. That's what I'm doing.
Using his head. Quatang! All right, so use your head. Is that an abstract? Okay, so that's a natural one. So as you're coming up, you're welcome to use inspiration if you haven't. I'll give you that chance before I give you the results of your.
D6.
No, if you have inspiration, it's advantage, so you can roll a second time.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure everybody had at least one available. So, all right, 16. Much better. Yes, that hits. Roll for damage. 9 bludgeoning. Okay.
Hey, Preston.
Yes.
Is Chult spelled
C-H-U-L-T. Yep.
Help me in with my elbow and do a whole crop of god hit
Okay.
right into his sternum.
So the monkey hits him with the one, and then the next one comes in. That one also hits. You see his headbutt, Clandon. You see right where the arrows were. Kilsiver comes in, headbutt, breaks off some of these, and you just see the air. Well, I don't know if zombies breathe, but you see it kind of stutter step for a bit. Another 9 damage. Use a key point.
blows
Okay.
and use a key point.
All right. That's an.
Unarmed strikes.
All right. Make your attacks. Go ahead and roll them both in series. First, second one, it steps back and is able to withstand the next blow, but it's not prepared for the third or the fourth strike for 5 bludgeoning damage.
Your finesse.
So then, at that same time as I do that, I am also going to manipulate my key, or
Okay.
the enemy's key, and due to being able to hit on the second period blow, I will make it take.
Because you're way of the open palm, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Make it needs to make a dex save or be knocked prone.
Okay. It rolls a 12. It is knocked prone
Hold on.
if it's 14.
Yeah, double check.
Okay.
Blow. What
This
would
is
my
magic
DC
roll.
be on that? I thought I saw 14 somewhere.
Is it your dex modifier? What is the I don't know what the DC for monks is. Let's see.
Oh, that's my breath weapon.
Kills for look over here. If do you have D&D Beyond open?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
do.
looking at it right
Okay.
now.
Get it here and I'll help in 1 sec.
We'll see who gets it first.
Swing, swing, swing. All right. It's going to be in your bonus action. Is that what you did, or a reaction?
It's yeah, it's a bonus action. You use Fury Blows as
And then open hand technique is a spell. Limited use.
is on top of that.
Key points, attack. Deflect weapons.
Let's see. Okay, key feature: the saving throw DC is calculated as 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom. So
Okay, 14.
plus-
It's 14, yeah.
Yeah, so it is 14.
So if you look on the actions and other tab, it shows in that area, it'll tell you where it came from.
There it is. I knew I saw 14 somewhere.
Yeah, that's where it's at. All right, perfect. So it's 14. Yes, it does get knocked prone. So as you see, you come in, you headbutt, and you come around with an elbow, and crack, and then the second one whiffs past, and then the last one you sweep with leg and hits the ground. Gorilla is prone.
Righteous.
All right, anything else on Kilziver?
He's prone action. No, that'll be it. That's it.
Okay. Next, Vorn. Big guy 1 on deck, which is red.
I mean, there's no real threat in his range right now.
Mhm.
So he's going to just stay sentry.
How far is his tremor sense?
So his blind sense is 10 feet.
Okay, so it's not that far.
Anything within 10
Was
feet.
he the green smiley?
Yeah, he's a green smiley face. He is patrolling, however, so where would you have had him patrolling? He can use move speed if you wanted to have him walk.
Okay,
What?
I'm looking for Reverend Dog.
I actually wouldn't have had him patrolling. I would have had him protect me.
Okay.
Stay down here.
Okay, so he'd be just standing guard.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's basically sentry mode within this area.
Okay.
Say anything within 10 or 20
Correct.
feet gets in range. It should protect Mushu.
Okay.
That axe.
Okay, so he will hold his action. Got it.
Yep. Those ready in action for if anything gets
All right.
like here.
So big guy 1 is red, big guy 2 is blue, the little blue dot, and then green is big guy 3, just so everyone's aware. Big guy 1, Vinfina, he uses his final movement. You see him sweep up onto the, kind of throw himself over the edge, and you feel as the tree rocks and this whole platform starts to tip and give way as he lands and hits his fist down into the planks, shattering pieces of the ship itself, and you hear this dull aching creak from the whatever the ship below your feet.
The what?
He Huh? The shit below your feet.
Okay.
No. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's not poop under your feet. All right, so he's going to attack. He does have a multi-attack. The first one is going to be a claw attack. He's swinging basically his big, thick, corded arm. He's going to swing at you. And this is it. Venfina. We're taking the first one, 13. Does a 13 hit?
Negative.
Okay, so the first one, as he comes down, you're able to deflect it, and he just kind of swings wide. The second one, his face comes right up in yours, and he's going to try and bite attack at you. I clicked the wrong one. That's a natural 1. So as he goes past, he is trying to...
Slips and falls off the boat.
He's trying to swing, and he does, like, as his arm goes wide and he goes for a wild kind of bite, he does stumble and tips forward. You feel as the weight continues to shift, and he smashes his head into this wall. He's going to take 1d4 of damage.
Take that.
No.
He bludgeoned himself for 2 damage.
Yeah.
All right.
Combat.
So, and he...
Never mind.
So he shakes his head. And he looks at the next, seeing Falx in front of him as his next target of, I don't know, his vehemence. Green guy, number 3. He is going to use half his movement to stand up. Whoop. Whoop. Come on, stand up. And same thing, he is going to look at you, Kilziver. He's going to make his first, he's going to actually swing with both arms. He's going to swing once, swing twice. Dang it, wrong button. Claw, not bite. Claw, number 2. 14 and 21. Do either of those hit?
21.
Does not, but the 21 does.
Okay, so the 21 hits. Let's roll the damage. That is 6 slashing damage. So the first one, as he kind of swings, the other one coming back with this bony, tendon, sinuously fingered hand comes across and slashes you across the chest, and you feel as that dull, aching burn as the warm blood starts to seep to the surface on your chest. Tiger Lily, you're up. Vidax is on deck. At this point, Aurora, from your vantage point, you see Venfina engaged, and with this large gorilla creature, you see ghouls on the ground that are on approach, but they don't seem to be as dexterous when it comes to tree climbing, and you see Roland kind of readying for another creature in the distance. You feel the tree rocking back and forth. And mind you, these are very large trees, so for them to be swinging so heavily, you know that these creatures are very dense.
They're dead.
Okay, can I see Venfina fighting the...
Yes. You can see her clearly from your vantage point. And the Gorillian zombie, and you can see the two... Well, you can't see Falx in the background, but you can see Radas between you and the zombie. Ish.
And is the gorilla, is that one with by Kilsifer, is that one on the ground, or is that one in the range?
That one is on the ground now because he knocked it out of the tree.
Okay. Just double check.
It was starting to climb, and he headbutted it and knocked it on the ground. So from your vantage point, you can't necessarily see the one that Kilziver is fighting, but you can probably guess and hear from the commotion going on down there.
Can we see the gorilla in the tree above us?
You're talking about this one?
Yeah.
That one, you were climbing around and up, so you probably would have a better vantage point. Yeah, you'd be able to see it, and since you've got sharpshooter, you would ignore whatever cover you might have had.
Well, it's Tiger Lily's turn. It's not my turn. So
Oh, Tiger Lily,
if she would be able to see it, or
she'd be able to see it, but she'd have to run, yeah, to go and try and attack it.
okay, I think I'm gonna send her up there.
Okay.
And have
And I assume your favorite terrain is probably going to translate as well to Tiger Lily, just for reference. So any of the benefits that you gain, she would gain as well.
Yeah, I was hoping for that. Is that not?
I believe it is by the rules, because it's you're the two of you. Like when you level up, she levels up. There's a lot of shared stuff. The assumption is that you spent a lot of time in the forest, and that's what made it your favorite terrain. And so she would assumed that she would have been with you when that transpired.
And each one of the squares is
5 feet.
Or 10? 5 feet.
Mm-hmm. Attack! How come every time you come around my zombie grillion wanna throw down? Like zombie, zombie, zombie?
Here is 45 feet.
I'm looking. Where are you saying? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be 45 feet running there.
And do I need to take away any from running the apple or anything?
No, because you're proficient, or because it's your favorite terrain, it's not going to be, like, she wouldn't have to roll for it at this point, especially with her 20 that she rolled earlier. She should be fine getting over. Now, what's her move speed? Is it 40 feet?
50.
50 feet. Okay, yeah. So she'd be able to get there. If she pounces, he is lower down in the branches, so she'd be basically pouncing onto him, and there's a chance that the if she's gonna pounce and like getting him prone, if that makes sense, they're gonna fall to the ground and he's gonna hit prone. Does that make sense? Because he's right now in the air.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your attack. And I'm gonna say, yeah, just go ahead and roll the attack, and then we'll see what the effect of the pounce is.
Well, don't I have to wait to see if you make the
20 feet. He's 12. Yeah.
I can do another attack?
Yeah. You're correct. Brilliant. Cool. Get it there. And it's a strength saving throw.
Yeah, DC's strength saving throw.
He rolls a natural 1. Actually, a natural 1 and a 2 is if he was doing it with advantage. So, yeah, it definitely succeeds. He critically fails. He, she, you don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you can tell a zombie apart from another. I know. I assumed it's gender. I'm sorry. So 5 piercing damage. Yes. So the bite works and the slash also works, and he's going to take fall damage. Both Tiger Lily and him are going to go hit the ground 25 feet. What is it? 1d6 for every 10 feet? Is that right? Let's see. So this guy, prone. So he is prone. The attack succeeds. First 5 piercing damage. Go ahead and make your second, the slashing attack. Three slashing damage. Okay. So as they're falling through, he's like, and Tiger Lily, she slashes across, bites into him, and they hit the ground. She's obviously braced for impact because of his smushy, whatever, zombie flesh. So she doesn't necessarily take that slashing or that fall damage, but that's going to be 2d6. And that's an additional 9 damage from falling. You hear as it hits the ground, and some of the leaves and stuff shake in the tree. And that's the end of Tiger Lily's.
17 damage.
Mm-hmm. He took quite a bit of damage, and Tiger Lily she's on top of him, but just tooth and nail going at it. Videx. At this point, he says, something's afoot. To Venfina.
Well, he had been informed to stay by Mushu and guard him.
Speaking of Mushu, at this point, Vidak's looking over, sees Mushu starting to climb underneath one of the canoes, hiding.
Okay.
So he is in cover.
Because he's right by the canoes too. So.
Okay. I will stay here. So that's holding his action, correct?
Yeah, until
All right.
there's an attack.
I will... There you go. I'll give him a snail icon for he's on the attack. Guy number 2. This one is blue. He's on the ground. At this point, he's going to use half his movement to get up. And he's going to push Tiger Lily off. He's now back down to... Change it from 30 feet to 0. This guy's up 50 feet.
Where's Tiger? Oh, I see you. I see you.
And he is going to make his attack. First attack is going to be a claw attack. He's going to swing as he tries to push her off. That is a 22 to hit.
He got the advantage on that?
No, he does. He doesn't get advantage. I choose when I roll everything with advantage with them, but we take the left one if it's not an advantage. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that would just be 5 slashing damage as he comes up and he swings. And then he's going to attempt to grapple her. So if she could do a strength saving throw for me. Okay. Don't worry about it. Unless she rolls a natural 1, because he just rolled another natural 1.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. If it's higher than a 1, then she's fine. She's able to get out of the way. But he's basically trying to get her in like a bear hug.
Strength one for her?
Yes, strength. Straight strength. It's a contest of strength. And while that's transpiring, ghoul cluster number 2 is going to shamble their way. Let's see, they go... Let's measure it. They are able to get up around kills of her, but they aren't able to get in striking distance. And so you see these golem-like creatures come shambling and you see him come around the corner, kills of her. At this point, you are now facing 4 individuals at the moment. That is the end... Trying to think, they're going to yeah, basically they're just kind of chill back because you get the sense that the Gorillion is kind of like the alpha in this respect. And it is now Aurora's turn. Clandon, you're on deck after ghoul cluster number 1.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot at one of these ghouls.
Okay.
Let's do this one.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack. All right. So a 6 on sharpshooter that doesn't miss. So arrow, you pull back, draw, fire. The ghoul just kind of comes, and at this point, it kind of is dodging out of the way of the Gorillion swinging its arm around. Go ahead and make your second attack. 18 hits. Roll for damage. And that includes the pierce, or the plus 10. Perfect. 14 damage. You shoot, and as you're shooting this ghoul, it just takes it to the chest, and you see it just spin around, hits the ground, but then it kind of stands up, back up, and breaks off the arrow shaft, and looks around, and looks up at you. And that... Anything else you want to do, Jared?
I give him the middle finger.
Okay. She attacked twice. Do you have any bonus actions or on-hit effects that you want to use?
I don't think I have any.
Okay. Like Hail of Thorns or any of that?
What?
I didn't know if you...
I don't think I have that one, but I'll check for next time. But
Okay. Check in your spell slots.
For this.
It'd be around the same place that Clandon's. I think you Hunter's Mark. It'd be in around that same area. All right. Next, ghoul cluster number 1. They're going to shamble. At this point, they're not necessarily paying attention to where Tiger Lily is. They're trying to figure out how to get up where Venfina is.
Why?
And they're going to kind of hover around the bottom of the ship here. All looking up, trying to see weakness or something, trying to figure out a way to get up there. Clandon, it's your turn. Venfina on deck.
I might.
Oh, sorry. He was helping me.
Oh, you're okay.
I'm ready.
Do it. I'm finding...
I'm just amazed that this big old gorilla is still alive. Continue.
Okay.
Back to this morning that I did. I'm gonna drop forth that power.
Okay.
Why did the winds change?
Go ahead and use your planar warrior.
I don't have it as a spell or anything, so I'm just gonna paste it in text for you.
Perfect. That works just fine. Bonus action, choose one creature you can see at 30 feet. Okay. Alright, you see it. Next to hit, turn weapon attack. Becomes force damage. Got it. And then 1d8 force damage. Perfect. And is this at the first whatever level that you can cast it at? Or is this... you're not 11th level, so there's no... Okay, got it. Okay, so go ahead and make your attack. And if you hit, go ahead and add the extra 1d8. 12 does hit.
Hallelujah.
They're natural armored creatures.
Do they suck?
11 damage. Oh, all right. So with that damage, you see as the second arrow definitely connects, and you see as the life force is starting to the dull green lidless eyes begin to flicker. It is going to make a Constitution save. DC of 5 plus the damage taken. So the damage taken in total being 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 total. It's DC plus 5. That's 24. Yeah, 24. It does not succeed. So you see that flickering as it starts to... it falls to the ground and does not rise again. Dead.
That still only counts as 1.
Alright, I still got an attack. Alright, so...
All the ghouls kind of scatter around it, and you see them...
Great finish.
Back on the menu.
Target the one that just made the worst face at me.
Okay, it would be this one.
The oogada boogada.
That's the one I'm...
He looks over at Aurora, and he's trying to imitate the middle finger. But he's missing that finger, so he's using his ring finger instead. 19 definitely hits. Roll for damage. A 10, and he starts to do it, and he's looking at you and like looking at his hand, and he starts to smile, and he's like right through its head, and you see his head just brain matter everywhere, and falls to the ground, dead. Okay. All right, Venfina, Roland, you're on deck.
Okay, I'm going to slide out my dagger, and while Gorilla Man, I'm going to go for the jugular with my dagger.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your attack.
Damn it.
Natural 1. Is that your final answer?
Retract it and try again.
Okay. So you stab at it, and he gets purchased into the tree, but does not hit the zombie. Go ahead and roll again. It takes a second, and you have to pull it out. 13 does hit. Roll for damage. And since it's a finesse weapon, you can choose either your dex modifier or your strength modifier to make it more damage. So your strength is 2. What's your dex modifier?
3.
Okay, so there's one. That would be one more. So you would be because your dex strength modifier is 2, so that would be 4 total damage that you've done to him. So you kind of stab it in,
Wait,
and
why did I get extra?
because you can use the dagger as either strength, because it's finesse, you can use your strength modifier or your dex, whichever's higher, for your damage. Does that make sense?
Okay, and also,
That's why the finesse weapon.
I'm gonna do an extra 1d6 damage as
Okay.
a sneak attack.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, you took a level of rogue?
I can either confirm or deny.
Okay.
-4.
So
Dora
good.
Morlem has changed her.
Hey, no one did that. It already was on my dex, Preston.
Oh no, because that when I hover over it, it says 2 to your strength. You rolled a 1 plus 2.
Oh, my attack is on my dex. My damage is on my strength. So okay, I'll change it.
Yeah. So your attack is appropriate. You're just the damage. Yep. So okay, so you do it, and then you got your sneak attack damage. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, Roland, it's your turn. Kills over your own deck. Roland, you see in front of you, you see a flash of black fur fly past you, and a living torpedo cat takes the zombie and hits the ground.
A torpedo cat.
Okay. So these ghouls over here, do I notice them? Are they climbing up?
They are standing below the ship on the ground, and they're all looking up, and they're just basically just kind of think the Morador, whatever you call it, the Mines of Moria. Think of those little goblins that are just kind of down below looking up like, trying to figure out or wait for table scraps to fall off the ship kind of thing.
Okay.
And yes, you do see them.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is anyone needs help with me, and then I'm going to point my mace once again at
Okay.
Sindar and another.
Okay. And it's a dex save, right?
Save of 13.
Okay. He's rolling his dex. Click. Maybe. I've clicked it twice. There it is. Ha! He rolls a 6. It does not make it save. Roll for damage.
Awesome.
And at this point, you see him swing and push Tiger Lily off. He's about to go in for another attack, and this bright burning flame engulfs his. No, this is. It broke up. Say again.
I said, what happened to the gorilla? You just thought he was a bright something flame came in.
Oh, it came and sorry, it came and hits him in the face, and he takes 9. That's radiant damage, but it's normal, right? Because it doesn't say specifically undead takes double damage or whatever, extra damage. Is that accurate? Yeah, sacred flame, correct.
That would be all.
Oh crap. I don't know what it was. Crap. -9. All right. So it takes damage, and you see it kind of taking its arms and trying to like snuff out this flame from its eyes. Looks back up at the ship itself. Between the ship and Tiger Lily. Anything else?
This goes around and of course the gods win.
Yeah, not how it.
Discord. Discord.
Let's say it took the most.
It's it. And then both wins. Well, and no longer curse. Please, I think I remember.
Did you tell them that?
What?
Did you tell them that?
I wrote it, but I don't know if they've seen it because it says my connection is choppy.
Did you guys see Preston stepped away for a second?
Yeah.
Internet connection issues.
Somebody GIF in chat. A computer with a hammer.
It's more like a router with a hammer.
With another router. So, out.
I didn't hear any of that, sorry.
No, just all daggers happy.
I only heard all dagger stabbing.
Alright, am I reconnected?
Guys, I'm
It's working?
sorry. I can't. It breaks up and I hear only one or two words.
You gotta kick the kids off.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey guys, are you on YouTube? Sophia, hey, get off of YouTube and go watch a movie on Google Play. Or you know what? Put a DVD in. You guys need to stop using
sure
the
that's gonna
TV
go over
and
well.
the internet. So don't use any of the apps. Just use a DVD.
Hold on, everyone. Sorry. Discord. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it with fire.
Great. So, you're in the same area we are.
Are they off? Sorry, everyone.
What?
We had a big gust up
Reconnecting. Slowly but surely.
all day yesterday, and today is about 30 miles an hour. But hey, it's sunny. This week and it's supposed to be mid-50s and sunny, so.
Relax and watch a show with your sister and brother. Then you go downstairs. She's just.
Okay, can you guys hear me through the web browser?
That's right. Close our schools. and
Yeah,
the
I can't
sites
get
and-
reconnected.
They're weak.
Snowflake, and they're like,
Alright, I'm just gonna do it on my phone then. I'll record this on my phone. This.
Sunday it was kind of blizzardy.
I don't hear pixelated voices.
Okay. Can you hear me?
And basically, I get there and I'm talking with everybody else that came in from other places, and they're like, "Oh my god, crazy! I'm so glad they pushed us back an hour and everything." And I'm just like, "That was nothing. Please, I live in Utah." That's not,
You live in Utah?
I
Right?
do.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
I know that's kind of my rant.
All right.
Every morning I wake up and go, "Oh."